Hello, hello everyone. Welcome to Chaos and Order Art by Susan Holt. That is me. Today is June 25th, 2025. Just going to get my computer set up over here so I know that I am going live. It's a couple minutes early and that's okay. Come on, scroll down. There we go. Let me see if I can hear myself. Yes. I can hear myself. Fantastic. Let me see if I can hear myself. Yeah. So yes, I can hear me, so that means you can hear me. Yay. Yay technology. So, before we get started, I'm going to do a little bit of housekeeping first. For those of you who are watching live, thank you so much for watching live. I appreciate it. For those of you who are watching in replay, go ahead and put hashtag replay down in the comments for me. That way I know you stopped by. Speaking of the comments, if you have any comments or questions, pop them down in the comment section, please. And I will get back to you tonight or tomorrow, depending on how my evening goes. So I do go back and watch these later so that I know I'm not sounding like a complete idiot or not. And then I will answer your comments and questions then. And I love all the little thumbs up, all the little hearts, all the comments, all the questions. So giving me that feedback is fantastic. We artists love feedback. So if you would just give me some of those, I would appreciate it. Also, for those of you who are watching this over on YouTube, like and subscribe, please. Thank you so much. Now, let's get into today. First of all, being June 25th, I would like to say a very happy birthday to my oldest friend on the planet, Celia. We have been friends since third grade. It's one of those relationships where we've kind of lost each other for a few years, and then we always have kind of come back together. And I am very lucky to have someone in and out of my life for that long, and I hope she feels the same. So happy birthday to Celia. I hope you are having a fantastic day. Now, oh, I was gonna show you a piece of art, but I don't have to. If you would like to buy any of my art, please consider it. I have lots of paintings and jewelry over on saholtstudios.com. That's saholtstudios.com. And if you need something for the summer and to kind of jazz up your decor or mellow out your decor or bring some bubbles and some joy into your life, I have lots of very pretty paintings over there. Oh, I see Tina has joined us. Hello, hello, welcome, welcome. Good to see you here. So I had some rocks up on my website and posted about them being available for sale, but I didn't quite feel right about that. I think the big rocks maybe we'll go for that because I don't want to leave the head-sized rocks where somebody can pick them up and throw them through a window. So maybe they'll go up on my website. Let me know your thoughts on that because I'm kind of struggling back and forth with should I, shouldn't I. But today I'm going to work on this giant rock that I just showed you. So let me point the camera down at this rock. And if I seem to sound a little flighty today, it's because I did not sleep worth a darn last night. I was having some end of the world kind of nightmares. Well, one end of the world kind of nightmare, but it was going all night. And it was horrible. My husband brought me home some very cute little rubber duckies today to go in our ducky bathroom, and it really cheered me up. So thanks, babe. So this rock I'm going to paint today, and I'm going to do, I think, one of my Sonoran Desert Saguaro cactus designs on it. I have two other rocks that I have been saving. Look how pretty this is. And once these all get sealed, yes, that is the right word, sealed, then all these beautiful patterns that are in it will come out. This rock has a beautiful kind of creamy base, and then it's got some dark and tan and kind of gold speckles and lines in it that are really going to come out. So I think I'm going to stay with my neutral color palette on this guy. And this one's going to take a couple of coats because this is really thin paint. I have this thinned out for something else, but it's the exact color that I want to put on this rock. So that's the one I'm going to use. Yay team. There we go. So yeah, here we go, here we go. I may have to mix some more of this up. This is the color that I mix on my own, and then I just put it, I reuse this little container that it's in. So I'll have to mix some more up because I'm running low, and it is one of the things I use in painting my bubble rocks. Excuse me. But it's also one of my favorites for doing a dark but not black color on these more natural rocks. And I do that because sometimes the black paint looks too harsh, and sometimes the lighter paint or a white paint, especially on something this cool and creamy, just kind of fades into the background, and I don't want either of those. I want something to still look as natural as possible and also stand out from the background. So that's what we're going to do. That's what I'm going with. It's my story, and I'm sticking to it because I have an art degree and color theory was one of my favorite classes. So this has a natural curved line here in the rock. So I'm going to base where I want this color to be here and down, and then I'll put the design up above here. But I also want to change it a little bit so that it looks more like the mountains and hills we have around here. I always paint the undercut a little bit as well. That way the design doesn't completely disappear and end off to one side. Okay, down you go. And like I said, this paint is a little thinner than I usually paint with. I usually do like dot design stuff and a little bit of some shading in the bubble rocks with it. So it's not mixed for this, so I'll do a couple quotes. I might do a couple quotes. We'll see how this covers. It's actually looking pretty good. Oh, I do see where it's kind of coming through. So yeah, we'll do a couple quotes. Not a big deal. But there's There's the first coat. I see Melissa Ann is here. Hello, hello. Welcome, welcome. And I will say on the camera, this rock looks very flat, but I'll lift it up and show you its actual shape. It is not flat. It's thin at this end and then very thick at the top. Being very careful not to dip my hands in the wet paint. So it does kind of slope this direction. Takes a nice little nosedive. Brush over there to dry. Get the water off of it. Pick up my other brush. And I'm one of these artists where I know that if I let my tools do the majority of the work, it just looks better. So I'm gonna scooch this over. So I have a rounded brush, so the end is rounded, not flat. And I like to make my little cacti with this one. So I live in Arizona and we have a lot of cactus around here. We have saguaro cactus, which is this one. And the saguaro blossoms are my favorite. They're a night blooming cactus and they are pollinated by our local bats, which are super cute, by the way. And I actually have a saguaro cactus blossom tattoo on my back with a little pollinator bat as well. It's very pretty. But the saguaro cactus, my second favorite cactus is the prickly pear. And they have either yellow or orange or a combination of both blooms on them. And their fruit is where we get prickly pear jelly from. So if someone brings you back some prickly pear jelly or jam from their trip to Phoenix, it's really tasty and you shouldn't just leave it on your shelf, you should eat it because it's really yummy. Okay. So 2 tall saguaro there. And I always start with the biggest this cactus that I want to put on one of these designs because I want to make sure I have enough room for them. And I'll go into medium designs and then smaller designs. That way I know everything's going to fit exactly where I want it to go. And since I'm using a rock, I sometimes have very limited space. So that is important to make sure everything goes on the way I want it to go on, where I want it to go on. Saguaro cactus are a great plant to have in the desert. Their numbers are dwindling though, and if you're ever down here and you see a saguaro cactus with a little hole in it, about this big, it's because a little bird has made its nest in there. We have cactus wrens, but also we have swallows and sparrows that will reuse that. And we also have burrowing owls that will reuse that nest site. So it's a great support system and a little house for small birds that we have here in the desert. Go. One off to the side. This side is deep enough that I wanted to put another another medium-sized cactus down there. I know you can't quite see it right now. And I don't know if you can see, but the bottom paint is starting to really dry nicely. So I may be able to do the second coat sooner than I thought, because it is dry today. A lot of people think that the only thing it takes to dry paint is the heat, but that's not necessarily true. It's also the humidity. So the faster the paint dries, the less humid it is. I kind of like it when it's not so humid out here when I'm when I'm painting. That means I get to work on my pieces a little bit longer than I sometimes would if it were a humid day. But I love the rain. Absolutely love it. I'm one of those people that when the monsoons hit, I'm very, very happy. Now, when our monsoon season does hit, I don't generally go outside and splash around in the rain unless I know there's no thunder and lightning, because that's a little bit dangerous. And we have a lot of thunder and lightning in our monsoon storms. And wind. Sometimes the wind is more dangerous than anything else. Because we've got a bunch of sand and dust and debris that comes along with the monsoons. A lot of times people get injuries if they're out in the monsoons or a dust storm, just from all the debris that's flying around. So I tend to stay inside, or I have a very enclosed back patio, which is nice. It's just a tiny little patio, but it's only open to the elements on one side, and it's not very big. So go out there and stand and be safe from the lightning and the thunder and the dust and debris. I hope monsoon season is coming up soon. Because I enjoy a good storm out there. So our beautiful saguaro cactus, these are the mature ones because they have arms coming up on them, are always accompanied by younger saguaro cactus who don't have any arms. So I like to put those on here too. All different heights. Or maybe it's the top of another older saguaro peeking over the top of the hill. I'll also, on some of my rocks, I'll put a little prickly pear cactus or something. But I really like making these little saguaros. Put a little prickly pear over here. There we go. See how that looks. Oh, it's so cute. Rinse out my brush. We're going to get a look at it. Yes, I'm going to need a second coat on the base and on some of the larger cactus as well. So we'll go ahead and do that. And I can tell it needs a second coat because there's some lighter blotchy areas that is from the lightness of the rock showing through. Don't know if you can see that well or not, but there's a lot of lines down there and some flecks of color coming through, so it does need another coat. Ooh, this is a heavy rock. Try to gift my larger rocks to people who I know will appreciate them, or put them in places where it's not close to a business's window. I think that's the responsible thing to do, just so no one gets an idea to fling them through a business window or at a rally or anything like that. Demonstration, not a rally, a demonstration. But yeah, I do I do have thoughts of sometimes well, maybe not thoughts, but maybe in my nightmares, if I am fighting back people who are not very nice people, I will dream of myself loading up my really pretty rocks into a trebuchet or a catapult, just flinging them over to the bad guy's side. I don't want that to happen in real life because, you know, my name is on them. And, yeah. I think using art for ammunition is an interesting concept, but I think art should be loved and enjoyed and appreciated instead. I wanted to make these two big ones bolder and in the depth of the color. The medium ones and the smaller ones can definitely be a little bit more wispy and have some of the background show through or look a little wobbly, because in a sunset setting here we do have that mirage effect where everything kind of looks a little bit wavy. Excuse me. So another thing, let's see. I usually like to do a nice size dot of paint with my dot tools. That kind of acts as the sunset on these. Painted rocks are not the Mona Lisa. They're not treasured works of art. I mean, they are treasured by people who find them or receive them, but I don't think this is going to ever be in the Louvre. But if it is, call me, Louvre. My little spot of sun, my sunset up there. And then we do have Harris hawks here in the desert. So I always like to put a hunting pair of desert dwelling Harris hawks. And they go up pretty high. We also have bald eagles and a whole bunch of other predatory birds. Oh, gotta find, oh, there we go. Find a place where there's not one of these really dark spots, because I think when the background is spray sealed, those black spots are going to look awfully similar to this paint. And just do the little lazy M birds from when we were in elementary or middle school. If I wanted to paint a bird on one of these rocks, like full on representation of a bird, it'd probably be a raven. I am partial to corvids. They're just so sassy. And funny. They're humorous birds. My two little hunting hare's hawks on there, and I think I'm going to leave it like this. Yeah, because I think that looks really good. So I'm going to shove this down here, and I'll put my paint back in the bottle, and then I can clean up. I'll paint the other two rocks that I have off to the side here at a later date, because I don't want to keep you too terribly long today. Already kept you for half an hour. So, if you need a piece of art that is going to lift your spirit, give you a calm place to look instead of the news, then let me know. You can send me a message here on Facebook or over on YouTube, or you can just shop on my website. And I'd like to invite you to come back next week and see what I'm working on. I'm starting to get a hankering of painting on canvas again. So I may be starting a painting next week. I don't know if it's going to be a spiral painting or a bubble painting or a combination of both. We'll see what happens. I may be back into doing more rock stuff. Oh, that's the other thing. If you are a member of the Arizona Artists Guild, we are going to start ramping up our rock garden, and we are going to have several in-studio sessions where you can come to AAG and paint rocks with me. It's not going to be a learning situation. It's just going to be a sitting around doing situation. So if you know what you're doing and you want to add some rocks to our community rock garden up there, come join me. The information will be on the website probably next week. So I just wanted to give you a little heads up and let you know what was going on. But I think that's going to do it for me tonight. Thank you so much for joining me right here on Chaos and Order. Art by Susan Holt. That is me. And I hope to see you next time. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your week and an artful weekend, and I will talk to you later. Bye, everyone.